If there's any one character that everyone loves in the Pokemon anime, it without a doubt has to be Brock. This guy is known for his cooking, his humor, his intelligence, and most of all, his passion for women. It's been a running gag from the beginning of the series, and it's still seen in the anime today. And while it still manages to hold up in its comedic value, I couldn't help but wonder, why does Brock always fall in love? Love with necessary quotations, of course. Is it just because he's a hormonal teenager? Is it solely for the purpose of a running joke? Or is there a deeper and darker meaning to it that adds another layer to his character? Let's find out. What's going on, guys? HybridHero here to bring you a video on the Pokemon anime. And this time, it's not on a video on Ash, but rather a video on Brock. Like I mentioned earlier, we're gonna try and go past the comedic aspect of Brock's flirtatious and lovey-dovey nature and try to find out if there's a deeper meaning as to why he's become this way. And no, this isn't much of a theory, as my good buddy MysticUmrbeon and I have actually found a legitimate answer to this question.
Yo guys, MysticUmrbeon here. Hybrid and I have actually decided to do an anime collab today, and while Brock is an important part of the video over on my channel, the video itself is on a what if scenario. Specifically, what if Ash never got Charmander? So you can get your dose of Ash as well as one of his most iconic Pokemon from there. For now though, let's stick to talking about Brock. If there's anything you know about Brock besides being Peter City's rock-type gym leader, it's probably that he's the rocks ready for the ladies. There's a lot of room for inappropriate jokes here, but we're gonna try and keep the video as PG as possible. But feel free to make jokes in your mind. Whenever he sees a beautiful girl that he's attracted to, he immediately drops everything, runs straight towards them, gushes over them, and flirts as much as he can with them. Luckily, he never got very far in his Endeavors, but if he did, that may have been a problem for Ash and whoever else he was traveling with.
See, Brock says that he's looking for the girl of his dreams, and he's very passionate about finding this girl, which itself isn't really a bad thing at all. But it does become a problem if finding this girl means that he's willing to throw away his entire life for a woman that he just met. And actually, he goes on hinting to Ash that if he ever does find such a girl, that's it. That's the end of their journey. No more traveling to learn about Pokemon, no more traveling to become a Pokemon breeder, or no more traveling to help Ash be the very best. Just romance on a honeymoon for a 15-year-old teenager and the supposed love of his life. Of course, his journey with Ash does end, but it would have ended prematurely if he wasn't so unsuccessful. So you remember all those times that Misty, Max, and Croagunk stopped Brock from flirting with whatever girl was in front of him at the time? Yeah, they may have been doing it as a gag, but they may have also been doing it to keep Brock in check, and so that he doesn't steer away from his actual dream of becoming a Pokemon breeder, and so that he doesn't leave all of his friends for nothing. Aw, so Croagunk really does care.
If you think we're exaggerating, then think again, cause he actually did exactly what he said he would do in the Orange Islands. Yes, Brock was written off during that season because Pokemon became a global phenomenon and people behind the anime were worried that Brock may have been seen as a racial stereotype, so they just took him out of that season. However, the way he left within the anime was more or less because he found that supposed woman of his dreams, Professor Ivy. Brock once again fell in love with a woman that he just met, but this time it was a little different. It was to the point where Misty couldn't even drag him out of it. And wouldn't you know it, the guy left Ash and Misty to stick with Professor Ivy and did anything he could do to help her. In fact, the only time we ever really see him in the Orange Islands after he's left, he's just running around doing errands for Ivy, which again is not a bad thing, but with the way Brock goes about it, it just shows a certain level of desperation from the guy, and that he values finding a suitable woman for him over any kind of dream he has or anything else in his life.
It's one thing being hormonal, and it's a completely different matter to drop your entire life for someone just to try and get somewhere with them. And that raises the question, why is he so desperate to find someone? And what exactly is he looking for in a woman? Well, luckily for us, Takashi Shudo might just have the answer. The late Takashi Shudo was the chief writer of the original Pokemon series, as well as the first 3 Pokemon movies. During his time as the chief writer, he actually produced 2 volumes of a novel of the Pokemon anime called Pocket Monsters: The Animation. Don't let the name fool you, cause even though it's a novel in the Pokemon anime, this novel goes into some dark secrets and history of the Pokemon world. And when I say dark, I'm talking about rather somber aspects about the world or characters that the anime would never even dare to cover. And when it comes to Brock, the novel actually reveals the secret of his love-struck nature, and that it actually comes from certain family issues. More specifically, issues involving his mother, Lola.
In the Pocket Monsters, the animation novel, it is said that being a gym leader isn't much of an easy job. The government support is poor and the pay isn't good at all. Above all, it's said that if a gym leader loses 3 times in a row, they're fired and replaced with another gym leader, essentially leaving them without a job and maybe even home. And since Brock's father Flint had left his family and his gym behind to pursue his own ambitions of becoming a powerful trainer, it was up to Lola to manage the gym and take care of her family. Due to the stress of maintaining the gym, she actually remarried again and again to help maintain the gym, but none of her husbands can handle the stress of their responsibilities, forcing each one of them to flee. Ever wonder why Brock has so many siblings? Well, it's because most of the 9 children come from completely different fathers from one another, because of how often Lola repeatedly got married to try and maintain the gym. Eventually though, she herself couldn't handle the responsibilities of being a gym leader and decided to abandon her family as well, leaving Brock to be the one to take care of the gym as well as his family, but not unscathed though.
According to Takashi Shudo, Brock's love-struck nature essentially comes from lacking a maternal figure while growing up, and basically being the father figure and the only one to raise the rest of his siblings. You ever wonder why Brock only ever falls in love with older and more mature women? Not once has he gone googly-eyed for anyone younger than his age, or even anyone around his age for that matter. At the least, they've been young adults, 18-year-olds. And there's a reason for this. It's not simply because he's attracted to women that are older than him. It's because he's actually looking for an appropriate maternal figure to help raise his siblings alongside him. Think about it. The reason why he never gushed over Misty, May, or Dawn is because, well, they're simply not mature enough to be mothers yet. They're very inexperienced in dealing with the world, and it's pretty much up to Brock to help take care of them, their Pokemon, and the rest of their companions. People like Officer Jenny and Nurse Joy, however, are very capable in taking care of themselves and those around them, and have a lot more responsibilities overall. Whenever Brock sees this in a woman, he doesn't just see that woman as another beautiful woman, but sees her as a possible mother for his siblings. The maternal figure that he always lacked, but the one that he can now give to his siblings.
It is in Brock's nature to be altruistic, to always put others before himself. While this didn't apply to his whole dilemma with girls, it would make a lot more sense if he was willing to drop everything to be with a girl was for the sake of his siblings. If he left Ash and Misty to be with Professor Ivy so that she may one day help him take care of his siblings, sure, he's abandoning his dream and friends, but he's again putting people, his siblings, before himself. Maybe hormones do have something to do with it as well. But again, if we really look at Brock's character, he always makes sure that his heart comes before his rock. You could say that another reason for his love-struck nature is because he kept seeing his mom remarry so many men. Brock may have thought that this was normal growing up and even developed to be more flirtatious with multiple different women rather than trying to start off committed to one woman and work towards winning her heart alone. But that's only a guess on our part.
There's one big problem with what Mr. Shudo has said, however. He mentioned how Lola remarried several times, and that's the reason why she has several kids. Well, if you take a look at the kids, they clearly resemble Flint a lot more than her. The only real explanation we can give to this is that maybe she kept remarrying people within Flint's hometown, or maybe even his family. Granted though, the real reason probably has to do with the fact that the first time we ever saw Brock's siblings was after Takashi Shudo had stopped working on the show. So by this point, the writers probably disregarded all of the backstory that Takashi Shudo had written in Pocket Monsters, the animation, and made Brock's siblings resemble Flint so that they could keep the anime lighthearted and away from the underlying dark tone. Cause as long as it wasn't mentioned within the anime, most people probably wouldn't have found out about it.
Because of this retcon, you could say that the original reason for Brock constantly falling in love and looking for a woman that could help take care of him and his siblings is no longer valid. If that's the case for you, then don't worry, there is another answer. And the answer once again lies within his family, but this time it's very simple. The reason for his love-struck nature now is Flint. In the Pokemon Chronicles episode, A Family That Battles Together Stays Together, what an ironic name, Lola is introduced to an anime and is trying to change the Pewter City gym into a water-type gym. At first, Flint doesn't approve of the changes, but after some quick flirting from him and Lola that embraces their children, this guy stops caring and lets her do whatever she pleases, and panders to Lola's dreams even at the expense of his children's beliefs and the Pewter City gym. Sound like someone else we know? Well, luckily Brock probably won't put his gym and his siblings' values on the line for someone, but it's clear to see that after the original series, Brock was written to have gotten his lovey-dovey nature from Flint.
I don't know about you guys, but Even though it's a bit dark and unfortunate, I kinda like the original explanation for Brock's love-struck nature. Not only because of the depth that it adds to the story, but also the depth that it adds to his character. It doesn't just make it some funny gag that stays consistent across the anime, but instead, it gives Brock a lot of heart. The guy always looked after anyone and everyone that came his way, and that's one of the main reasons why the character was loved so much. And when you take away one of the funniest aspects to him and peel it away, we see that at the core of his love and humor, his compassionate nature for his family and the world still remains intact and is the true driving force of his character. So for me, even though the anime may have retconned it, his goal of finding a wonderful mother for his siblings will always be what I see as the true goal in his pursuit for love. What about you, Mystic?
Yeah, I gotta agree with you, Hybrid. The explanation from the novel really shows how responsible and caring Brock really is, and gives much more depth to the characters as well as the Pokemon world that I otherwise wouldn't have known about. Who knows, maybe Brock going from a Pokemon breeder to a Pokemon doctor is also symbolic of the truth or the compassion behind his flirtatious nature. A way to show that he's realized that he's really just trying to get with a woman, just so she can help him take care of his siblings better, as well as whatever is in need of their help. Or maybe we're the ones that are looking into it too hard. Either way, I gotta say that I myself love Brock a whole lot more than I did now, and I didn't even think that was possible.
Same here, buddy. He was my favorite character in the anime, and after learning about all of this, I can't help but love Brock even more. He's definitely retaining a spot of my favorite character within the anime. So guys, now you know why Brock always falls in love. What did you guys think of the reasoning behind his love-struck nature? What do you think of him now that you learned the depth of his love-struck nature? And what did you think of the video? Let us know, but don't forget, we do have another video involving Brock over on Mystic's channel.
That's right. Well, I know Brock isn't in the title, but trust me, Brock will be playing a major role in our What If Ash Never Got Charizard video. And we're just gonna have a fun time getting creative with our ideas, so be sure to head over to my channel to check that video out.
Thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed. Be sure to hit a bunch of like button if you enjoyed the video, and hit that dislike button if you didn't. Let us know how you feel. Comment down below your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about Brock's character now? And what do you think of the Pocket Monsters, the animation novel? Let us know. Be sure to share the video around if you want help with the channel. And finally, subscribe to both of our channels and hit the little bell icon if you want to stay up to date with all our content. Take care of yourselves, have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys over on Mystic's channel, alright? Later.